We'll start with opening comments from Coach.
Yeah, I'm just extremely grateful for this group of young women we have. They're just amazing. You know, everybody at the beginning of the year kept saying, oh, you know, Iowa lost so much. They lost all this offense and 2 starters, and everybody kept focusing on that, and we kept focusing on what we had. And even when we had an injury with Molly Davis going out of the lineup, you know, Sid just came in there seamlessly, and I'm really just proud of this group. They kept the focus all the time on us, and I'm really I couldn't be more happy for such a great group of young women than this. So,
thank you. We'll now open it up for lots of questions for the coach. Start right here, front row. To you.
Michael Oss, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Lisa, if you would, describe what your defensive strategy was coming into this game and how the players executed it.
Actually, we thought we would be playing a whole lot more zone than we did. We started out in zone. It was good for the first couple of minutes. They had to call a timeout. And then we tried trapping in our zone, and that really wasn't working. And after that, we went to our player-to-player defense, and I was so impressed with how hard our players worked in there, especially in the paint. It was, you know, they're a hard group to defend in the paint when you have both Angel and Morrow in there. It's a lot to guard in the paint.
Go ahead. Go ahead over here.
Sam Ohaj with WVFI Quail. The third quarter, you guys were able to pull away. What defensive adjustments were made in the locker room at half that led to the great defensive showing we saw in the third quarter?
You know, there wasn't a lot of adjustments that we made. We just talked about how we needed to box out, and we didn't really do that, as you can tell here. But it's ironic, they had 23 rebounds and only 14 second chance points. That's a really low number for 23. But a lot of it was kind of like, you know, just kind of bouncing it off the backboard a couple times to yourself almost. You know, I think when we came out, the game's tied, we come out, Caitlyn hits that deep 3. And it just gave us a lot of momentum. It just, you know, and then we get a stop and then another score, and all of a sudden, you know, they have to call timeout after 2 minutes again. I just think we started the game and we started the third quarter with a punch, and that really helped us a lot, gave us a lot of confidence on the defensive end.
Hey, Coach, Doug Feinberg, the AP. I asked you the other day if there are any more wow moments left from Caitlyn, and then she drops 41 and 12 today, and again, the regional final, I think she did 41 last year also. Can you put in perspective what she did tonight for you guys to get you back to the Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn, I feel like I've talked about her, like used every word imaginable to describe her. But I thought what she said today about her maturity has just grown so much over 4 years. I really saw that tonight. I mean, it could have been a highly emotional game. It could have been a lot of talking going on out there, just from what happened at the end of last year. And honestly, she put it aside. She put everything aside. And so I think her maturity, her communication with her teammates was really good tonight. I mean, she was in the huddle really building others up, which I love when she does that because it means so much coming from her rather than me. But I mean, her distance shots were amazing tonight. Her logo threes were incredible. You know, I mean, how do you defend that, right? It's like, it is nearly impossible. And so that obviously gave us some great momentum.
Lisa Howard, my Daltonets, congratulations. 2 things if I could. The first on Caitlyn, she mentioned ball screens being a critical part of this, and you talked about we're going to find ways of getting her to the basket, which is not a thing against LSU that she did, but she did right away here tonight. How much of that is a schematic change? How much of that is just even her maturing and getting that much better again to the rim?
Yeah, I was really happy in the first quarter. She got to the rim quite a bit and came off ball screens, and we really encouraged her to do that because we didn't want her to start out with the logo threes. We thought she could get to the rim, and we wanted the higher percentage shots to begin with. And so I was pretty happy that she did that. And then I'm telling you, third quarter though, she came out with a different look in her eye, and I could tell her all I wanted to that time to get to the rim, and it wasn't going to happen. So,
right here.
Lisa, M. Adler from The Next. You know, between this game, the West Virginia game a couple of rounds ago, your team has had to really be incredibly physical and play sort of like above your height, especially in the paint defense. Has that been for you a big sort of learning point and growth from last year?
You know, we've had to play that way all year. I mean, Addie O'Grady went in and played some good minutes tonight for us. She had 15 minutes, I think. She did a nice job in there when Hannah got into some foul trouble, but we've been undersized all year, and, it's just the way it is. You can't do anything about it, and so don't gripe about it, right? Just go out there and play and use what you do have. Do you have speed? Do you have agility? Do you have hops? Use those things instead of focusing on, I wish I was, 4 inches taller.
Nicole Auerbach, The Athletic. Lisa, you mentioned, throwing punches. They threw punches back. I mean, it was such a high-level game, and it was so frenetic in the first quarter in particular. What is that like to experience, to be part of as the game's unfolding, and then obviously to come out victorious? But what does it feel like to be in a game like that?
Yeah, we always tell our players, basketball is usually a game of momentum swings. And, you got to make yours ride as long as you can and hang on during theirs. And they had a really good momentum swing there in the second quarter, was it? They had a really nice momentum swing. I was just happy that I thought we were going to go up to go into the locker room, and I was thrilled with that. But then we ended up being tied, and we just went in there and said, "Hey, we got 20 more minutes." They were very locked in at halftime. There was a lot of belief in that locker room. There really was.
Coach Ken Shaw from the Daily Gazette in Schenectady. I'll ask the same question I asked the players. How important was it not to focus on what happened last year and just keep the focus on this year and winning the game, get to the Final Four again?
I can tell you, we didn't talk about last year's game at all. We did not talk about it at all. It just wasn't important to us. That was last year, different teams, different scenario. We just kept focusing on this time we get to play. We get to play today. We focused on ourselves. And I know it sounds elementary and it's just what they said, but that's truly what we really believed. I mean, we were just focusing on ourselves and not focusing on LSU going into this game.
Lisa, Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Kate said it's not really a rivalry, but obviously you've had these two huge games. How good is this back and forth between LSU and Iowa?
Well, I mean, we talked about that last night, and I told the team, this is not a rivalry. This is a competition. It's a competition against an opponent. It is not a rivalry. I just don't feel like we've played them that many times that you consider it a rivalry. But, I mean, I think people were highly interested in this game. And so I think people were excited to see this play, to see this matchup again. So I think that was there, the excitement around the game, but it certainly wasn't one that we feel like is a rivalry. It was just going out to compete.
Last one here.
Hey, Coach. Isabel Rodriguez with The Next. To bring it back to Gabby Marshall, I mean, for you, from the coaching perspective, I mean, it's different to when you're like a teammate to have somebody who's that consistent. But for you as a coach, like, what does it mean to have somebody who can go out there and put 40 minutes on the floor the way that she does so consistently and with so much energy?
I'm so glad that you noticed her, because I think she doesn't get enough credit for how hard she plays. First of all, yes, she is a sniper. She shoots 1 out of 3 tonight. It's 50% adjusted. But she has 2 steals. She has a block shot. I mean, she's the shortest person out there, and she has a block shot. She consistently guards the toughest person. She consistently gives it all that she has defensively, whether it's, getting out and denying or understanding to get her hands up, something as simple as that. She is a great defensive player, and I'm so proud of her effort, and I'm glad that you recognize that as well. So thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time with us this week, and best of luck in Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you.